Hello everyone, welcome to Infra Experts. This is our 7th session on MySQL database. Till now, what we have seen the overview of MySQL, the different database versions of MySQL, the additions MySQL offers, the client server architecture of MySQL, the popular storage engines, server logs, socket files, InnoDB Tablespaces, the MySQL default database schemas, and the new features present in MySQL 8. So these were the theoretical part. In the practical session, we saw about MySQL installation and checking of various logs of MySQL. Also, we saw about backups, different type of ways of taking backups through the native MySQL dump backup, MySQL replication, where we saw the theoretical part, and also we saw the practical on how to implement MySQL Master-Slave replication. In this session, we'll be seeing upgradation, where we'll be upgrading MySQL Master-Slave replication. So we'll be upgrading both master and the slave instances. So before we proceed, let us just brush up through the editions of MySQL first, to which is very much important to note during our MySQL upgradation. So in here you can see that MySQL versions 5.1, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 and 8 are available. So these are the major versions of MySQL. So MySQL 5.1, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 and 8.0 are the major versions of MySQL. So if you are planning to migrate from 5.6 to MySQL 8, then you cannot directly upgrade to MySQL 8. You need to first upgrade to MySQL 5.7 and then you need to upgrade from 5.7 to 8. So this needs to be kept in mind. In our this practical session, we will be seeing upgradation from 5.7 to MySQL 8 in a replication master slave replication setup. So in this MySQL upgrade, we need to note that there are certain parameters which are deprecated in future releases and new parameters have been added in future releases, like that. So these needs to be kept in mind before we upgrade our MySQL databases. So in here we'll be including these parameters in our MySQL my.cnf file, where first thing is prompt. You can put in your MySQL 5.7 also, that's not an issue. But why I'm putting this, what does this indicate? These indicate slash u as your username from the user you are connecting to your MySQL. Then slash h notes the server host, and then slash p the current TCP IP port or socket file, and slash d which is the default database which you are taking. And if you are using the database, if you are connecting to another database, that database will also be shown in here. So if you are not putting this, the prompt will be like MySQL then greater sign. And if you're putting these prompts, then it will be giving the username, the server name, the TCP IP port, and also the database name where you are connecting. So those will be mentioned in there. That's why I'm keeping this. Next comes the default authentication plugin. So in MySQL 5.7 till MySQL 5.7, MySQL native was the default one. But from MySQL 8, caching underscore SHA2 underscore password is a default authentication plugin rather than this MySQL native password. And this caching underscore SHA2 password is much more secure than what we were getting in MySQL native password. But in here, we'll be using this MySQL native password and proceed with our upgradation. Next comes the log error verbosity, which we have kept as 3 in here. So what does this log error verbosity 3 indicate? 3 indicates that in the log, your error, warning and information messages all will be kept. Whereas if you keep it as 1, just the error messages will be printed. If you keep it as 2, just the error and warning message will be included. So let us now proceed with our practical setup where we will be upgrading our master and slave. So you can see in here that source, this is my master server, and the target, this is my slave server. And in slave server, let me see the whether MySQL is running. So it is running in here, and let me just log into it and check whether this is running fine or not. The slave process is running fine or not. Show slave status. You can see that slave IO is running, yes, and slave has read all the relay log waiting for more updates. So it is in sync with the master. Now coming to MySQL Master-Slave Upgrade setup, you should note that whenever you are upgrading a replication setup, you should upgrade all your slave instances first before upgrading your master database instance. So in here, since we have just a single slave, we are proceeding with the upgrade of this single slave before we proceed with the upgrade of the master. If you are having one master equals to 5 slaves, then those 5 slaves needs to be upgraded one by one before we proceed with our master server upgrade. And one more thing which needs to be kept in mind is that before doing any sort of upgrade activity or any activity, a database backup should be kept. So let us first take a database backup. So in here I need to keep the database backup. Let me delete these. Okay, so these are deleted. Let me take the database backup. So this is the command. Let me take like this then, and let me file it. So the backup is complete. Why did it take this much less amount of time? Because this was nothing in my database, in my instance. So it took less amount of time. So since the backup is complete, now let me proceed with the further steps. So further steps needs to be, we need to bring the binaries over here, right? So to bring the binaries, at first we need to, if I have kept this in my notepad right now, but if you see my MySQL installation part, it will show you how to get the binaries for any version you need. So let me come in here, and from here I can just remove this one, the start.gz, and let me get this file. So we are upgrading to 8.0.26 from 5.7.35. So this is not downloading. Why? I need to give no check certificate in here. That's why it is not downloading. So currently this is downloading. I will pause the video until it is downloaded. So my download is completed. So this is it. Now what I need to do, I need to untar and unzip it. So this is now untarring it. After which what I need to do, these are the same steps like we followed in our MySQL installation part. I will be making a soft link of this so that it is useful for anyone to locate it. So this is done. Now let me make a soft link of this. So a soft link has also been created for this. Now let us proceed with the steps. First step is what? I have done this, and I need to change the my.cnf file. After which I will be stopping the slave and I will stop the instance too. So let me check the my.cnf file. This is the file, and in here as you can see, these entries needs to be provided. And then for client, this is actually not needed, but still let me put it in here. And then the first and foremost thing what I need to do, I need to change the base directory 8.0.26. okay, and then mysqld, I already have this port. Temp directory should also be there. Yes, it is there. And then the socket file is also there. Then the default authentication, this needs to be kept. And then the collation server, the character set server also needs to be changed. Temp directory is already there. I kept it twice, I believe. so this should not be there. Log error verbosity and PID, those also needs to be provided. Okay, so let me do one thing. The character set first. Where is the character set? Yes, UTF-8 MB4, right? MB4, this character set I am taking. And the next is the collation server. So this is the collation server, and then log error verbosity and PID file. Log error verbosity being this, and the PID file. PID file, this needs to be changed. This will be slave. So I believe I'm fine with this. Now let me log into the database. You can see in here, as I said earlier, which user, through which user I'm logging, that is showing for the prompt one. For because of this, the host name which I mentioned in as 127 in the client part, so this is it is taken, and then it is taking the port number. Now if I go to use infra, you can see that the database also is shown in here, where at first there was no database being shown, that's why it was taken this. Okay, now I need to see whether the InnoDB fast shutdown parameter is 1. Okay, it is 1. Now I need to stop my slave. So the slave has been stopped. You can see that it is not running. Okay, now I need to shut down my database. Then the socket file, the username and the password, and then shutdown command. So this is shutting down my instance in here. So my instance has been shut down. Now the next step is I need to go to this directory, and from here I need to run the command bin mysqld, then the defaults file. For me the defaults file will be this. Let me just paste it in here. Then -- upgrade equals to force demonize user MySQL. So let me run this. So you can see the logs. If there are any error logs and everything, you can see it in here. You can open a parallel session and you can run it from there. For me, the database upgrade won't be taking much time. That's why I'm not saying the logs. If you want, you can open a duplicate session and you can see from there. It will not take much time for the, you can see that there's some issue with the upgrade. So let us find it out. What is the issue? I came to know what should be the issue in here. You can see unknown variable query cache size. So this query cache size, this needs to be hashed out, because in MySQL 8 query cache size is deprecated parameter, which I missed to hash out. So this is the query cache size. Let me just hash it out in here, and let me again start the upgrade. I hope this time the upgrade will proceed smoothly. Running queries to upgrade MySQL, and you can see from here the logs and all, everything you can see from here. You can see that it is running with PID 557. So my database is currently running fine, right? Let me just stop the database once and start it up again. Let me give the socket file as, this is the, where is the socket file? This one is the socket file, right? So this is shutting down my database. So my database is currently stopped. Now I need to start it up again. This should be like this. And now the database is up and running. So you can see that the database is currently up and running. Now let me log into the database. Select @ version. So this is upgraded. Now if you want, you can start the replication also and keep the MySQL Master-Server as 5.7 and the slave as 5.8 version. But we will be proceeding with the upgradation of master server also before we start the replication. So let us proceed with the MySQL master server upgrade. So this is our master server, and the master instance which is running currently in here is this. So let me first log in and check whether everything is fine or not. So I'm able to log in. You can see here that what I was saying about the prompt one, in here in our CNF file, the prompt is not mentioned. You can see in here. See, the prompt is not mentioned. That's why MySQL greater than sign is coming as the prompt in here. But in our source, this is the prompt which we are getting because of the prompt we gave. So let us start our upgrade activity in here. Currently, this is the path, right? So let me go in here and let me follow this document again, and let me get this 8.0.26. It won't be connecting as I need to give the no check certificate. So currently this is downloading. I will pause in the video till it gets downloaded. So this is downloaded. Let me just remove the other one and let me untar it. So this is untarring right now, and we need to follow the same steps what we did in our slave database. So this is done, and now what I need to do, I need to make a soft link for this. So the soft link is also created. Now the next step is need to take a full DB backup. So let me take this backup. And where do I need to take it? Let me take it in here. So the backup has been taken. Now let me edit the my.cnf file. So let me check the document. In MySQL, I need to provide these entries. Okay. So let me provide it. Now, next thing I need to do is first of all, let me just hash this one out. Since this is here, last time I forgot. Client, I do not need to give this entry. No need. And let me provide the entries for this. Port is there. Temp directory should also be there. Yes, the temp directory is there. The socket file is also mentioned in here. Yes. The default authentication plugin, this one I need to give. And then the collation server, that also needs to be provided. The character set server, that one needs to be changed. Character set server, where is it? Yes, MB4. Log error verbosity and PID file also needs to be provided. Let me change the directory in here. So this is done. Now what I need to do, let me just check the InnoDB fast shutdown parameter. My bad. See, it took on the fly. So it is fine. Now let me shut down the database. Let me give the socket file -u root, then password, and then shut down. So this is now shutting down the data instance. Once this is shut down, I need to go to my MySQL 8 directory, and then from there I need to run this. So my CNF file is this. Let me just copy it in here and then upgrade force. So this is right now upgrading. So you can see that this is upgraded. Let me check the logs. I cannot see any errors present in the log. So my database, I can say that it is upgraded to 8. Now let me just log into the database. So I have logged in. Let me check the version. Also let me check this. From here I can get each and every detail with this command. You can see 8.26, everything is changed. Now let me start the slave. You can see the slave IO is running. It is fine. Replica has read all the relay logs, and it is waiting for more updates. To confirm whether everything is fine or not, let me create one more database. Or let me create one database named infra test. Let's see whether it's replicated in here or not. You can see that infra test is replicated. So my replication is also working fine, which we can also see from this slow slave status. Just to show you whether everything is fine or not, I just created one of the databases and showed you. So this concludes our session on upgrading your database, and where we saw how to upgrade your replication database, master slave replication database from 5.7 to 8. Had this been a version from 5.6 to 8, you had to go ahead with upgrading your data instance from 5.6 to 5.7 first, because that was the primary version, and after that from 5.7 you had to move to 8, because we cannot skip any major versions and proceed with the upgrade. So this concludes our today's session on MySQL upgradation. We will be meeting in some other sessions regarding MySQL as soon as I get some time. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Please do like, share and subscribe.